Welcome, my friends, to the Darkest Corners. Today's sales are about spring break horror. And if you like these stories, please like, subscribe. And if you didn't, please hit the dislike. There's also a hype button that's popping up now. If you can hit that, any interaction will help me and my YouTube channel. Also, this story will be short this week due to being spring break. Please enjoy and have a great week. The secret map. Spring break isn't supposed to be quiet. It's supposed to be neon lights, overpriced drinks, and crowded boardwalks. But Sarah had this contact, a guy on a forum who swore there was a private stretch of coast 3 hours south of the tourist traps in Cabo. He called it Playa de las Sombras, Beach of the Shadows. It's not on Google Maps, Sarah had said, waving a hand-drawn sketch like it was a treasure map. We were 22, fueled by cheap beer and the feeling of being invincible. We reached the end of the paved road around 4 p.m. The landscape changed fast. The lush palms gave way to jagged black volcanic rock and twisted gray trees that looked like they were reaching for our throats. We set up camp. Jax found a series of strange mounds along the tree line, perfectly conical piles of bleach white shells. He kicked one over, laughing. Local art, maybe? Maya didn't laugh. She pointed toward the water. About 50 yards out, during the low tide, a jagged rock formation was visible. It didn't look natural. It looked like a series of pillars arranged in a circle. That night the moon didn't rise. The darkness was thick, like it had weight. Around 2 a.m., I woke up to a scratching sound. Scritch, scritch, scritch. It was coming from the side of the tent. I thought it was a crab. I grabbed my camera, turned on the night vision, and unzipped the flap. There was nothing there, just a set of wet footprints leading from the ocean, circling our tent 3 times, and then stopping abruptly. Not human footprints. They were long, with 4 distinct indentations that looked like talons. The next morning, the party vibe was dead. Sarah's car wouldn't start. The battery wasn't just dead. The wires looked like they had been dissolved by something acidic. "Look at the tide," Maya whispered. The water hadn't come back in. Usually the tide cycles every 6 hours. But the water had retreated hundreds of yards, revealing a vast, glistening plain of black mud and more of those shell mounds. And the pillars? They weren't just rocks. They were carved with faces, faces that looked like they were screaming. Jax, being Jax, decided to walk out to the pillars. "Probably some ancient ruins," he shouted back. We watched him through the camera lens. He reached the first pillar, touched it, and then froze. He didn't scream. He just dropped his head back and stared at the sky. Through my zoom lens, I saw his eyes. They weren't white anymore. They were reflecting the bruised purple of the deep water. Jax didn't come back when we called. He started walking, not toward us, but deeper into the exposed seabed. Then the mud started to move. Pale, translucent shapes began to pull themselves out of the black silt. They were thin, elongated creatures with skin like wet parchment. They didn't have eyes, only wide, circular mouths lined with needle teeth. "Run!" Sarah screamed. We scrambled for the tree line, but the trees weren't trees. As we hit the forest edge, the gray branches began to twitch. They were limbs. Dozens of these things were hanging upside down, camouflaged against the bark. We lost Sarah near the car. One of those things dropped from the canopy. It didn't bite her. It just wrapped its long, damp fingers around her face and pulled her up into the gray leaves. We didn't hear a scream, just a wet pop. Maya and I are in the salt cave now. It's the only place they won't go. The walls are encrusted with natural salt, and for some reason, they won't cross the threshold. But there's a problem. The tide is finally coming back. I can hear it. A massive, roaring wall of water. It's not just water, it's them. Thousands of them are riding the surge, returning to the shore to feed before the sun comes up. The battery on this camera is at 2%. If you find this, don't look for the beach. Don't follow the map. Some places aren't meant to be discovered. Some places are just waiting for the next spring break. Wait, Maya, why are you standing so close to the water? Maya, turn around. Maya, your eyes.